Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope you enjoyed that Venezia deletion. Poor guy exploded. Anyway, I've got a game for you today in the Forrest Sherman, and I think we've got on a gear to try and deal with. So let's shoot him a lot. So I've been doing a little bit of testing with the Forrest Sherman in the training room, and there's still a huge problem with the rate of fire. So to sum that up in a nutshell, I'm not going to go into the ins and outs of it all, but I find it quite tedious and boring, to be honest. But like I said, I've done a little bit of testing in the training room, and it doesn't matter whether you take adrenaline rush or not, or basic firing training, as I call it. I'm old school, right? It doesn't make any difference. In fact, in some cases, the fire rate will actually decrease for whatever reason. So go figure that. I mean, yeah, it's something to do with the game engine, no doubt. So unfortunately, it looks as though the gear's escaped, and yeah, but a Montana's come into view, so might as well shoot this guy up a bit. Yeah, so the game engine's not fast enough to actually poll guns that fire at less than a second on the reload. Basically, it's yeah, it doesn't work. Which is a bit of a con, really, when you've got all these lovely skills to boost your rate of fire. But you know, it is what it is. But at least we've established that. But apparently, you can actually just hold the button down on the mouse now, instead of pounding your finger against the left mouse button as fast as you can. So yeah, I should maybe test that as well. I'm still not convinced that that's correct either, to be fair. But certainly none of the captain skills make an iota of difference to the rate of fire on this ship. Also, I found that the penetration's completely random as well. In pretty much test conditions, firing a set number of shells at ships at the same distance, same conditions, that it can take up to 10 shells more to kill a ship, or 10 shells less with the sap. It's probably the random dispersion factor, I would imagine, but when you're shooting at something at 2 kilometers and you're hitting it in exactly, well, pretty much within a radius of, what, a few meters, I would think, in game, You wouldn't have thought that it'd take 10 shells less to kill a target in some cases, or 10 shells more. So, you know, it's yeah, a bit weird really, a bit strange, but you know, it's World of Warships, isn't it? And yeah, I did actually manage to hit a torpedo on the Montana, which I thought was quite amusing. And then the Montana comes into view with his lovely bronze camo there. So I'll smoke up and shoot him up, but he's I was obviously spotting him, so this smoke screen is going to be a bust. I'm going to have to get out of it, I think, eventually.
Smoke screen set.
And of course the Easter holidays are upon us, so there's quite a lot of new players in the game again, and players that maybe don't participate that often. And the random battles have been quite challenging, should I say, and infuriating in some aspects, especially when you get 2 subs on the enemy team and a super carrier or something like that. You know, it's just, in some respects, trying to play a top DD under those conditions, it's almost unplayable. And especially if you drop a few radars, long range radars into the mix, it becomes very difficult. And teams become more and more passive, run away to the map borders, and yeah, it's been a difficult week this week. I think Wargaming certainly do need to look at game balance if they want this game to survive, because, you know, already quite a lot of my friends have left the game over the past couple of years, but particularly this last year, and I can understand why. It is, in some cases, incredibly difficult to actually feel as though you're doing anything effective in the game. You know, I've got to play overpowered ships like the Forrest Sherman to do damage sometimes. You know what I mean? It's it is quite challenging. And yeah, that was another 2 torpedoes on that Montana. Yeah, you couldn't make it up, could you? Forrest Sherman gets 2 torps per side, and I hit both of them. Yeah, but you know, getting back to the game issues, it's becoming apparent that Wargaming just want to make, well, we've known this for a long time, haven't we, that Wargaming just want to make as much money as they can, as quickly as they can, at the cost of everything else, really. You know, they're just interested in turnover and making the big bucks, and I'm sure that they're doing that. I mean, they've brought the super ships into the game this weekend, they've just gone live, and you know, I've no problem with that. It's more content, but I believe that some of those super ships are incredibly, should I say, broken. There's not a lot of balance going on there. I think we don't really need to look much further than the ship that I'm shooting up right now. That thing is completely and utterly broken. It's got jet planes that cover the map in a matter of seconds, and it has to die. Simple as that. I have to get rid of this thing. which is fine. But when you take into consideration the fact that as a DD player, you're always under threat from the air and also from under the water as well. There's not a great deal you can do against submarines unless you actually drive over the top of them. A colleague of mine plays the HMS Eagle quite a lot, and he rarely leaves a game without 200,000 plus damage, you know, and that's every game. So I'm you know, that can't be right, can it? You know, when I'm struggling to do 70-80k in some matches in torp boats. Yeah, he's gonna go down eventually. Okay. So, yeah, I think the enemy team here were a little bit passive, weren't they? They let me drive straight into them and do a shit ton of damage. So yeah, I really hope that they do take into consideration game balance and get it sorted, because you know, there's so many things that they could do differently to make this game better. And if you listen to Atam and Jedi on the podcast, you know, I think they've pretty much discussed all of those different options by now. But it certainly needs sorting out. Whether it ever will be is another question. I don't know how to say this really, but the problem for me is this is the only game that you get to play historical warships that look exactly like they did, oh, pretty much, apart from the camos, of course. You know, to any degree of kind of accuracy at all. There's loads of ship games about, but none that actually scratch that itch, you know. I'm not saying that this game's realistic in any way, shape or form, because it clearly isn't, is it? But it could be a lot better than it is, that's for certain. And we get a strike team there, which is nice. Just passing the 200k mark. And this Shishino must die. I think my ammo choices in this game were a little bit sketchy. Could have had quite a few fires as well on some of those battleships, but as an experiment I just fired the sap all game, and it does damage, that's for certain. And a kill for the win there. So 215k, nearly 500 target hits, 3 torps, and yeah, reasonable amount of XP. So this was one of a handful of games that have been reasonable over the past week, really. A lot of them have been a bust one way or the other. But I still love the game, and I will continue to play it. And as always guys, thanks ever so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you again next time.